But it's good to, like you said, have conversations with other attorneys, and don't feel like, if you're feeling you're being pressured by someone, that's a big red flag that you're like, hey, I don't even need to go there. It's, you want to get as much details as you possibly can from the beginning. That's why even having videos like this where you can educate yourself to know what legally you can do and not do, because sometimes you're just taking advice from anyone and that can actually hurt you. I mean, example, that client that we had, if he took that wrong advice saying, hey, you could wait a year to do probate, and now he's somewhat stuck, and now he has to kind of get rid of this house as soon as possible because, like you said, he's going underwater and it's affecting him, and it could potentially affect him even longer down the line with his name possibly being attached to it with the mortgage. So definitely get advice. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It shouldn't cost you anything just to call an attorney and ask questions, and then you can pick from there what your best option is. Is there anything else that you recommend for someone who has kids that are underage, that they do have, over $1 million worth of assets, whether it's between real estate and also their bank account and also their 401ks? What can they do to protect themselves and their family? Because I had a client, for example, before you answer that, they had their home, the father passed away. Unfortunately, he was doing something in the house or yard and he fell and got hurt. And because there was no will, there was no estate, every child that he had, even child that he didn't speak to for years, also took a piece of the property, a piece of what was made. So from them not getting access to the bank because he didn't have a will, not getting access to the 401k that he had, or even able to sell the property, that affected them. That it took them almost 2 years to do that, to get that taken care of. So what do you recommend for someone that do have kids? Like I said, have kids and they're underage and they have a lot of asset. What can they do? Not saying that you're going to die, if you're in your early 30s or 40s, you just want to protect yourself. So what do you recommend for them?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely doing estate planning. We recommend estate planning once you're 18. At 18, you technically have an estate. You have the power to make decisions about your health. You have the power to make decisions about your money. And if you don't designate someone to help you make those decisions, someone else is going to do it for you. So at 18 is really, you can start doing estate planning. For parents with minor children, we absolutely recommend trust planning. Trust planning is an amazing tool. It's just like a will, right? You're basically saying, I want my assets to be distributed this way. But the goal with the trust is you move the assets out of your individual name and into the trust during your lifetime. We consider a trust a gift that you give your family, because a will is, instructions for how you want to leave it. But the family has to do all the work to get their inheritance. With a trust, you do it during your lifetime. You move all the assets. You change the title. The deed comes out of your name and goes into the name of the trust. The bank accounts come out of your name and into the name of the trust. And then you, while you're alive, you're the trustee. You still sign all the checks. You still have all the control. But the minute you pass away, the next person in line, the successor trustee, can start writing the checks, can transfer the deed. I mean, it's a very... Look, trusts were created by the uber wealthy back in the days to avoid creditors, avoid probate, avoid taxes, right? They hired all the best attorneys because they had all the money and they figured it out, right? And the IRS would battle and challenge it, and they carved out this tool called a trust. And now we, as the average, person, we have access to this, so it's a great vehicle. The most important thing with trusts is you have to transfer the assets. So I like to think of it as a purse. While I'm alive, everything's in my purse. But if I don't put my wallet in the purse, right, I can't use it when I need it, and my family can't access it. If it stays on my body, it doesn't go in the purse, it has to go through probate. So that's the biggest thing. Make sure when you do estate planning, and if you're going to do a trust with an attorney, are they going to help you with the funding, with the transferring process? Are they going to walk you through that? A lot of attorneys, unfortunately, have a reputation of giving people trusts, but then not really following up with them to do the transfers. And so what winds up happening is people have this great trust that they paid for, and it doesn't control anything because nothing was transferred to it. So it is a two-step process. And the second part does take, the time and the legwork to go to the bank, transfer the assets. But once it's done, it's done.
I mean, I'm going to do it with you. I even spoke to you about actually going ahead and starting the process just to avoid anything, and at least it's there and I don't have to think about it. Now, do you guys charge differently depending on how much it is? So there's there's a flat fee and it doesn't matter how much it is?
Yeah, so our firm, we charge flat fees. Not everybody gets the same rate because everybody has different ways they want to, what they want to do with their estate. So for example, we offer a trust, and then let's say you want everything to go outright at a certain age. That's a simpler trust. But if you wanted to create sub-trusts, right? So you don't want the children to get it at 18. You want the children to get it at a certain period, maybe when, like we said, graduating college or having children. Somebody has to manage that trust for those years. We have to put in that specific language. So we charge a little bit extra for creating sub-trusts. But with the flat fees, basically right up front, you know what you're getting. We tell you what the options are. You sign up for them, and then it's a flat fee, done. There's no hidden costs. Some attorneys might charge an hourly rate, especially if it's a high net worth case where it's complicated, right? There's a lot of stuff that has to get done. But for the average client who's just trying to protect their children and family, it's usually flat rate.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Leslie. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with before we disconnect? We got here 30 minutes, tons of information that was provided. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for just sharing everything with us. So is there anything else you want to leave us with?
Just to keep in mind, you work really hard for your money, you're looking to protect your family, don't neglect this estate planning, because this is the way to wrap it up in a nice package and make sure it's available for them.
Absolutely. And avoid the probate, avoid how expensive it is, because you might think, hey, it's expensive to do the estate, but it's more expensive once you go through the probate process, and it alleviates from headaches within family. Leslie, thank you so much. What's the best way for people to contact you if they need to get a hold of you?
Yeah, my website, I'm sultanattorney.com. And yeah, thank you, Rosa, for doing this. You're really educating people, and it's a gift that you're giving people. We get calls all the time from your videos. People really learn from your stuff. So thank you for doing this for the community.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and even sharing all this information. So thank you again. You have a great